Hello everyone, and welcome back to our channel. Today, we're re-diving into a topic that is close to many of our hearts. How to build stronger, more loving connections with our children and grandchildren. As we get older, that desire to be truly heard, understood, and cherished doesn't just stick around, it deepens, doesn't it? It's like a quiet, gentle flame inside us, always seeking the warmth of family. But sometimes, it feels like there's a gap. The world has changed so much, and our kids and grandkids are living lives that can seem worlds away from what we knew. We might feel like we're speaking different languages. Not just because of slang or technology, but because our life experiences are so different. We see them busy with their phones, their schedules packed, and we wonder, where do I fit in? How can I connect in a way that truly matters? This feeling is completely normal. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's about bridging that gap with love and understanding. The good news is, it's entirely possible. It just takes a little shift in perspective and a few new tools in our communication toolkit. So today, let's explore some gentle, effective ways to open up those lines of communication and create the healing, heartfelt conversations we all crave. The first step, and perhaps the most important one, is to lead with listening. I know. It sounds simple, right? We've been listening our whole lives, but I'm talking about a different kind of listening. Not listening to reply, or to give advice, or to share our own story. I'm talking about listening to understand. When your grandchild starts talking about a video game you've never heard of, or your child is stressed about a work problem that sounds like jargon, our first instinct might be to tune out or change the subject. Instead, let's try getting curious. Ask questions. Simple ones work best. Oh, that sounds interesting. What do you like most about that game? Or, that sounds really tough. What's the biggest challenge you're facing with that? You see, when we ask questions, we're sending a powerful message. You matter. Your world matters to me. I want to understand. You don't need to become an expert on their hobbies or their job. You just need to show you're interested in their life. This simple act of validating their world can be incredibly powerful. It builds a bridge, brick by brick, from your heart to theirs. It tells them they are safe to share their world with you, no matter how different it may seem. Now, let's talk about sharing our own stories. Our life experiences are a treasure trove of wisdom, resilience, and history. But how we offer this treasure makes all the difference. Sometimes we start with, well, back in my day, ... double quotes. And we can almost see the shutters come down on their faces. They've heard it before, and it can feel like a lecture or a comparison that invalidates their own struggles. So, let's reframe it. Instead of using our past as a measuring stick for their present, let's offer it as a story. People are wired to connect with stories. Try starting with something like, what you're going through reminds me of a time when I felt really lost, and then share your experience, the feelings, the uncertainty, the outcome. Don't end with a so you should ... double quotes. Just share the story. This approach invites them into your world without pressure. It shows them you understand struggle. You bebe and Terry. And you came through it. It transforms a lecture into a moment of shared humanity. It's a gift, not a lesson. And gifts are always more welcome. Another key to healing communication is embracing vulnerability. This can be tough for our generation. We were often raised to be strong, to keep a stiff upper lip, and to not burden others with our problems. But vulnerability is the currency of deep connection. It's about being real. It's okay to say, I've been feeling a bit lonely lately, or I miss seeing you all more often. Sharing your feelings honestly, without blame or guilt, is not a sign of weakness. It's a sign of trust. You're trusting them with your heart. When you do this, you give them permission to be vulnerable. 2. You create a space where it's okay not to be okay. This is where real emotional intimacy is built. A simple, how are you asterisk, really asterisk doing, followed by you sharing how you re-asterisk. Really asterisk doing can open doors you thought were locked forever. It says, we're in this together. Let's be real with each other. This authenticity is magnetic and can help dissolve the distance that may have grown over time. Now, let's address the elephant in the room. Technology, the smartphones, the tablets. the endless scrolling. It can feel like a barrier, a wall between us. But what if we saw it as a bridge instead? Our grandchildren are digital natives. It's their world. Instead of complaining about the time they spend on their phones, let's join them there. Ask your grandchild to show you their favorite TikTok video or explain a funny meme. Ask your kids to add you to the family group chat. Send them a funny picture or a short, sweet message saying you're thinking of them. Learning a little bit about their digital world is like learning a few phrases in a foreign language before you travel. It shows effort, respect, and a genuine desire to be part of their life. You might be surprised at how eager they are to teach you. For them, teaching you something can be a wonderful way to connect and feel valued. It flips the dynamic and can be a lot of fun for everyone involved. Another powerful tool is appreciation. We can get so caught up in the day-to-day that we forget to voice our love and admiration. Don't assume they know how proud you are of them. Tell them. Be specific. Instead of a general, "I'm proud of you," try, "I was so impressed with how patiently you handled that difficult situation," or "It brings me so much joy to see what a kind and thoughtful parent you've become." These specific compliments land with so much more impact. They show you are paying attention. You see them, you see their efforts, and you value their character. A heartfelt, specific compliment can brighten someone's entire week and strengthen your bond in an instant. We all bloom under the sunshine of genuine appreciation, so let's be generous with our warmth. Let's make sure the people we love most know exactly why we love them. It costs nothing, but its value is immeasurable. Finally, let's talk about letting go of expectations. Sometimes, the source of our frustration is the gap between what we expect and what actually happens. We might expect a phone call every Sunday, or a visit every holiday. When these expectations aren't met, we feel hurt and disappointed. Their lives are often chaotic and unpredictable, and their failure to meet our unspoken expectations, usually ISNT, a reflection of their love for us. Instead, let's focus on the quality of the interactions we do asterisk have, rather than the quantity. Cherish the unexpected phone call. Savor the short but sweet visit. Be fully present in those moments. When we release our rigid expectations, we free ourselves from a lot of unnecessary pain, and we open ourselves up to receiving love in all the different ways it's offered. It allows us to appreciate what is, rather than being sad about what isn't. This shift in mindset can bring an incredible sense of peace and make every interaction feel more precious. So, to recap these simple but profound steps: listen with curiosity. Share your wisdom through stories. Embrace your own vulnerability. Meet them in their world, even the digital one. Voice your appreciation specifically. And let go of rigid expectations. None of this is about changing who you are. You have a lifetime of love and wisdom to share, and that is your superpower. This is simply about changing the delivery method. It's about learning their language, so your love can be heard and felt more clearly than ever. Building and healing relationships is a journey, not a destination. There'll be bumps along the way, but every small step you take makes a difference. Think about it. How many times have you hesitated to talk about something because you felt you didn't know enough? Maybe it's a new video game they're obsessed with, a musician they've never heard of, or a topic they're learning in school that feels completely foreign. Our instinct might be to stay quiet, change the subject. But what if we tried a different approach? Imagine the power of saying, "Wow, I don't know much about that at all, but I'd love for you to teach me." Or, "That sounds really interesting. Can you show me how it works?" In that moment, you transform. You're no longer just the grandparent. You become a fellow explorer, a curious student. You're showing them that learning is a lifelong journey and that you value their world, their interests, and their expertise. This simple shift creates a space of safety and trust. It tails them. My world is a safe place for you to share your world. By being willing to be vulnerable and admit you don't know everything, you become a safe and loving guide. Someone they can come to with anything, because they know you won't judge you. Just be curious. This is the essence of being present over being perfect. It's not about having a perfectly curated conversation. It's about showing up, listening, and being genuinely interested in the wonderful, unique person they're becoming. It's in these small, authentic moments that the strongest bonds are forged. Now, Let's talk about something that can be one of the most challenging, yet most powerful tools in our communication toolkit. The apology. For money, of course. Apologizing can feel like a delicate feat. Our pride gets in the way, and our ego whispers, but I wasn't wrong. We get so caught up in the details of who said what and who was right, that we lose sight of what's truly at stake in the relationship itself. Even communication sometimes requires us to apologize, not because we were factually incorrect, but because we value the connection with our loved one more than we value being right. It's a profound shift in perspective. It's about prioritizing love over ego. Think of a time when a disagreement created a rift. Maybe it was a misunderstanding, a harsh word spoken in a moment of frustration, or a long-held difference of opinion. The silence that follows can be deafening and can stretch on for days, weeks, or even years. That silence is often built on a foundation of pride. A simple, heartfelt, "I'm sorry," can be the key that unlocks that door. But the words we choose matter. It's not about a begrudging, "I'm sorry you feel that way." A truly healing apology acknowledges the other person's pain. Try something like, "I'm sorry if what I said hurt you. That was never my intention. Our relationship is what matters most to me." Or simply, "I miss you. And I'm sorry for the distance between us. I want to fix this." This kind of apology isn't about taking the blame for the entire situation. It's about taking responsibility for your part in the disconnect, and more importantly, it's a declaration that you choose the relationship. You're saying, "My connection to you is more important than my need to win this argument." It is a gesture of love and humility that can end years of silence and rebuild bridges you thought were long gone. It opens the door for the other person to soften, to feel seen and heard, and to begin the process of reconnecting. This brings us to a crucial aspect of healing: validating feelings. We don't have to agree with someone's perspective to acknowledge its validity for them. How often have we dismissed our children's or grandchildren's feelings by saying things like, "Oh, you're just being too sensitive," or "It's not that big of a deal." While we might be trying to help them move on, what they actually hear is, "Your feelings are wrong. Your experience doesn't matter." This is incredibly invalidating and can shut down communication immediately. When a child is upset about a small problem, like a broken toy or a friend being unkind, that problem is not small in their world. It's huge. Their feelings of sadness, anger, or frustration are real and powerful. Our job isn't to judge the size of the problem, it's to acknowledge the size of the feeling instead of dismissing them. Try validating them. Say something like, "Wow, that sounds so frustrating," or "I can see you're really sad about that." It makes sense to feel that way. You don't have to agree with their reaction or their interpretation of events. You are simply holding up a mirror to their emotions and saying, "I see you. Your feelings are okay." This act of validation is like offering a safe harbor in an emotional storm. It tells them they can trust you in their feelings, even the big, messy ones. It teaches them emotional intelligence, that it's okay to feel what they feel, and that they can move through their emotions without being ashamed of it. When you validate someone's feelings, you're not fixing their problem for them. You're empowering them by giving them the emotional support they need to navigate themselves. You become their trusted confidant, the person they know they can turn to when things get tough, because you won't tell them how to feel. You'll just sit with them in their feelings. This applies just as much to our adult children. They might be dealing with work, stress, parenting challenges, or marital issues. We might see an obvious solution and jump in to offer advice, but often what they need first is not a solution, but empathy. They need to hear, "That sounds incredibly difficult. I'm so sorry you're going through that." Or, "I can only imagine how stressful that must be." Start with validation. Acknowledge their struggle. Let them know you're on their team. Once they feel understood, they'll be far more open to discussing potential solutions with you, if that's what they're looking for. But leading with validation, rather than advice, shows respect for their autonomy and emotional experience. It builds trust and deepens your connection in a way that simply fixing things never could. So, let's recap the 3 keys we've discussed today. First, choose presence over perfection. Be your authentic self. Mimic the relationship over being right, and learn to say, I'm sorry, in a way that truly meant. And third, practiced the art of validating feelings. Acknowledge their emotions without judgment to create a safe space for a true connection. That, of course, in life isn't always laughter and sunshine. Conflicts are a natural and unavoidable part of any close relationship. The key isn't to avoid them, but to learn how to navigate them with grace and love. When a disagreement pops up and you feel that tension rising in your chest, the first and most important thing to do is to simply take a breath. Just one deep, conscious breath. This small pause can be the difference between reacting impulsively and responding thoughtfully. It gives you a moment to step back from the heat of the emotion and choose a path of connection instead of conflict. Healing communication doesn't mean we have to tiptoe around difficult subjects. In fact, it's the opposite. It means we have the courage to approach these topics, but we do so with a heart full of grace and a genuine desire to understand. Instead of making accusations or jumping to conclusions, try shifting your language to one of curiosity and respect. For example, instead of saying, "You're wrong," or "I don't agree with that," try asking questions that open the door to dialogue. Simple questions like, "Can you help me understand your perspective a little better?" This question isn't about agreeing or disagreeing. It's about showing that you value their thoughts and feelings. It communicates, "You're in a world that matters to me. I want to see things through your eyes." Another powerful question is, what matters most to you in this situation right now? This helps you get to the core of the issue. Often, a conflict isn't about the surface level disagreement. It's about an underlying need or fear. Maybe they need to feel heard, respected, or in control. Asking this question shows that you care about their needs, not just about winning the argument. These questions are powerful because they move the conversation from a battleground to a common ground. They signal that you are on the same team, working together to solve a problem, rather than being opponents on opposite sides. This approach builds trust and shows a profound level of respect. It also models a healthy way to handle conflict, a skill your children and grandchildren will carry with them for the rest of their lives. You're not just solving a single disagreement, you're teaching them how to build healthy relationships. Remember, it's okay not to have all the answers. Sometimes, the most healing thing you can say is, "I'm not sure what to do right now, but I'm here. I love you. We'll figure this out together." This vulnerability is a strength. It shows them that it's okay to be imperfect, that your love is unconditional. It's a promise of presence, which is often the most comforting gift we can give. Another beautiful tool for healing is shared activity. Sometimes, the best conversations happen not when we're sitting face to face, but when we're side by side, engaged in something together. It could be cooking a meal, going for a walk, working on a puzzle, or tending to a garden. When our hands are busy, our hearts and minds often open up more freely. The pressure to have a talk disappears, and conversation can flow more naturally. These shared moments create a backdrop of positive memories, making it easier to navigate the more challenging ones when they arise. Think about creating small, consistent rituals of connection. Maybe it's a weekly phone call where you only talk about good news. Or perhaps it's a story time where you share tales from your own childhood and they share stories from their week. These rituals become anchors in your relationship, steady points of contact that reinforce your bond over and over again. They don't have to be grand gestures. In fact, it's the consistency of small, loving actions that builds the most enduring bridges. And finally, let's talk about forgiveness, both giving it and asking for it. We all make mistakes. We say things we don't mean. We react out of frustration. We misunderstand. A crucial part of healing communication is the ability to say, "I'm sorry." A sincere apology, without excuses or justifications, is incredibly powerful. It acknowledges the hurt and validates the other person's feelings. It's not about who was right or wrong. It's about prioritizing the relationship over your ego. So, how do we reframe this? It's all about shifting the focus from you to I. Instead of saying, "You never called me," try something like, "I feel a little lonely when I don't hear from you. I really miss our chats." See the difference? The first is an accusation. The second is an honest expression of your feelings. It doesn't attack you. It shares a piece of your heart. It's an invitation for them to understand your experience. Not a demand. Let them both of you of the love and connection that's always been there, even if it feels distant right now. Using I feel and I remember opens doors for empathy. It says, this is my perspective, my feeling, which is something no one can argue with. It creates a space for a real conversation, one where both parties can feel heard and respected. This small shift in language can create a monumental shift in your relationships. Now, let's talk about something that might feel a bit intimidating to some: technology. I know, for many of us, the world of smartphones, video calls, and social media can feel like a foreign country. But what if I told you that this intimidating technology could be one of the most powerful allies in connecting with the younger generations? It's true for our kids and grandkids. This is their native language. It's how they communicate, share, and connect with their world. By making an effort to step into their digital world, you're sending a powerful message. I want to be a part of your life. Your world matters to me. And here's the good news. You don't have to be a tech expert. You really don't. It's the effort that counts. A simple video call can be a gift. Seeing your grandchild's face when they tell you about their day. Seeing them light up as they show you a new toy that SA connection. A simple phone call KUA. And to always replicate. It bridges the physical distance in a way that feels almost magical. Don't be afraid to ask for help. Say to your grandchild, hey, can you show me how to use this app? I'd love to see the pictures you're posting. This not only helps you learn, but it also creates a wonderful role reversal. It empowers them to be the teacher, gives you a shared activity. It shows humility and a willingness to learn, which are incredibly endearing qualities. Even small gestures can have a huge impact. A simple voice message saying, just thinking of you and sending my love can brighten their whole day. It's more personal than a text and takes just a moment. Sharing a photo can spark a wonderful conversation. Maybe it's an old family picture with a caption like, look what I found. This was your mom at your age. Or maybe it's a picture of your garden or a meal you just cooked. These little digital postcards say, I'm thinking of you who are on my mind. The key is to not be afraid of looking silly or making mistakes. So you accidentally hang up on a video call. You can't figure out the right filter for a photo. So what? Laugh about it. Your imperfection makes you human and relatable. They don't expect you to be a tech wizard. They will appreciate the effort more than you can possibly imagine. Embracing these tools, even imperfectly, shows that your desire to connect is stronger than your fear of error. And that is a message of pure love. Let's expand on this idea of bridging the gap. It's not just about technology. It's about bridging the generational gap in understanding. Our life experiences are vastly different from those of our children and grandchildren. We grew up in a different world with different challenges, values, and social norms. It's easy to look at their lives and think, why do they do that? Or back in my day, we would never ... But judgment is the opposite of connection. The key here is curiosity. Instead of judging, get curious. Ask open-ended questions. Not why are you always on that phone, but what's so interesting on your phone? Show me what you're looking at. Not why did you spend money on that? But that's a really unique style. What do you love about it? This approach turns a potential point of conflict into a point of connection. You're not trying to approve or disapprove. You're trying to understand. You're showing them that you respect them as an individual with their own thoughts, tastes, and perspectives. Remember, understanding is not the same as agreement. You don't have to agree with all their choices to love and respect them. You can hold your own values and still make space for theirs. This is what true acceptance looks like. When your children and grandchildren feel that you are genuinely trying to understand their world without judgment, they will feel safe. And when people feel safe, they open up. They will be more willing to share their lives, their struggles, and their triumphs with you. This curiosity should also extend to their emotional world. The pressures they face today are different. The mental health challenges, the academic and social pressures amplified by social mediate as a landscape we didn't navigate in the same way. When they express frustration or anxiety, resist the urge to immediately offer solutions or dismiss their feelings by saying, instead, validate their feelings. Say, that sounds really tough. I'm so sorry you're going through that. Tell me more about it. When you offer a listening, non-judgmental ear, you become a safe harbor in their often turbulent world. You become the person they can turn to when things are difficult. That is an invaluable role to play in their lives. So, replace judgment with curiosity and watch how the doors to their hearts swing wide open. Another cornerstone of healing communication is the art of the sincere apology. This can be one of the hardest things for any of us to do, especially across generations. We often feel that as elders, we're supposed to have all the answers. That admitting we were wrong somehow diminishes our authority or our wisdom. But the exact opposite is true. A genuine apology is one of the most powerful displays of strength, humility, and love you can offer. A true apology has no words. It's not, "I'm sorry I hurt your feelings," or "you were being too sensitive." That's not an apology. It's a hidden accusation. A genuine apology takes full ownership. It sounds like this: "I am so sorry for what I said. I was wrong. I can see that my words hurt you. That was not my intention. I love you." That's it. No excuses. No justifications. Think about a time in your past when you may have said or done something that caused a rift. Maybe it was a harsh criticism, an invalidation of their feelings, or a moment of anger. These unresolved hurts can linger for years, creating a silent distance. Reaching out to apologize for these past events can be profoundly healing for both of you. It might feel incredibly vulnerable. You might worry about how they'll react, but you're not apologizing to get a specific reaction. You're apologizing because it's the right thing to do. It cleanses the wound. It communicates that your relationship is more important than your pride. I'd say something like, "I've been thinking a lot lately. I realized that what I said to you years ago about your career choice was out of line and hurtful. I am truly sorry for that. I've always been proud of you." This kind of proactive apology can break down walls that have stood for decades. It tells your child or grandchild that you are capable of self-reflection, growth. It models for them what emotional maturity looks like. It's a gift. It releases them from the burden of carrying that hurt. It releases you from the burden of unresolved guilt. Don't underestimate the power of a simple, heartfelt sorry. It can be the key that unlocks a new, healthier chapter in your relationship. Finally, let's talk about creating new shared experiences. While it's wonderful to reminisce about the past, relationships are living things that need to be nurtured in the present. If all you ever talk about is the good old days, your relationship can become a museum, a piece something to be admired but not actively engaged with. To keep your bond vibrant, you need to create new memories together. This doesn't have to be a grand, expensive vacation. The most meaningful experiences are often the simplest ones. It's about finding common ground. What do you both enjoy? Maybe it's not baking cookies anymore. Maybe now it's trying a new coffee shop together. Maybe it's going for a walk in a park you both love. Maybe it's watching a movie or a TV show they're excited about, even if it's not your usual cup of tea. The activity itself is less important than the intention behind it. The intention to spend quality time together, here and now. Invite them into your world. To say, "I'm going to be planting some tomatoes this weekend, and I'd love some company if you're free." Or, "I'm trying a new recipe for dinner on Friday, and I'd love for you to be my official taste." The key is to make it a low-pressure invitation. If they're busy, that's okay. The important thing is that the invitation is extended. It shows you want to play, and you are together, being present. This is so important. Put your phone away. Truly listen to them. Ask about their life, their friends, their work, their dreams. Show genuine interest. This focused, undivided attention is one of the most valuable gifts you can give anyone. It makes them feel seen, valued, loved. These new, shared rituals become the thread that you weave into the fabric of your relationship, strengthening it for the future. It's the weekly phone call, the monthly lunch date, the annual trip to the pumpkin patch. These are the things they will remember. They are the evidence that your love isn't just a thing of the past, but a living, breathing, active force in their present-day life. It's a beautiful thought, isn't it? Connecting deeply with the ones we love most. Yet, sometimes, communication across generations can feel like trying to cross a bridge built from completely different materials. On one side, we have the strength and wisdom of seniors, a foundation shaped by decades of rich life experience. On the other, we have our younger generations, navigating a world that changes at lightning speed, a world of instant information and digital connection. When these two worlds meet, misunderstandings can happen. It's important to remember that these conflicts rarely come from a lack of love. More often, they arise from simple differences in language, pace, perspective. We've lived through different times, faced different challenges, and learned to speak different emotional languages. It's not about who is right. It's about recognizing that we're standing on different shores, looking at the same world through different lenses. So, where do we begin to build that bridge? It starts with intention. Healing communication isn't about trying to fix the past or forcing everyone to agree on everything. That's a recipe for frustration. Instead, the goal is much simpler and far more profound. It's about creating a safe, loving space where hearts can genuinely meet. It's about connection, not correction. As elders in the family, you hold a unique and powerful position to initiate this healing. You have the life experience to see the bigger picture. And the first step is a conscious choice, choosing kindness over correction, and choosing curiosity over judgment. When your grandchild talks about their online world, instead of dismissing it, what if you asked, "That sounds interesting. Can you show me how it works?" When your child expresses a different political view, instead of immediately debating, what if you said, "Help me understand why you feel that way"? This shift from telling to asking is a game. It signals that you value their perspective, that you respect them as an individual, and that you are genuinely interested in their world. It's an invitation, not a lecture. And when people feel invited, they are much more likely to open their hearts and share what's truly in their minds. Let's talk about one of the most powerful tools in our communication toolbox: active listening. This is more than just being quiet while the other person talks. Active listening is an art. It means giving your full, undivided attention. Put the phone down, turn off the TV, make eye contact, lean in slightly. This body language alone says, "No matter, I am here for you right now," as takes me to listen, not just to the words, but to the feelings behind them. Is your grandchild excited? Is your son stressed? Is your daughter feeling unheard? Try to identify the emotion. When they pause, you can reflect it back to them. For example, you might say, "It sounds like you felt really proud of that accomplishment," or "It seems like you're feeling a lot of pressure at work." This simple act of reflecting their feelings is incredibly validating. It shows you're not just hearing them, you're understanding them. You're not judging or trying to solve their problem immediately. You're simply being present with them in their experience. This creates a profound sense of safety and trust. When people feel safe and understood, they will share more. The connection deepens naturally. Another crucial element is letting go of the need to be right. This can be tough, especially when we have a lifetime of experience that tells us we know better. But family relationships aren't important. The goal isn't to win an argument. The goal is to maintain the relationship. Sometimes, the most loving thing you can do is to simply say, "We see this differently. That's okay. I love you." This doesn't mean you have to abandon your values or beliefs. It simply means you value the relationship more than you value winning a debate. It's about agreeing to disagree, respectfully. This models incredible emotional maturity for the younger generations. It teaches them that love can exist alongside disagreement, which is one of the most important life lessons of all. Now, let's address a common scenario: giving advice. We see our loved ones struggling, and our natural instinct is to jump in and offer a solution. We've been there, done that, and we want to spare them the pain. While this comes from a place of deep love, unsolicited advice can often backfire. It can sound like criticism or lack of faith in their ability to solve their own problems. So, here's a powerful alternative. Ask permission first. A simple phrase, like, "I have a thought about that. Would you be open to hearing it?" changes everything. This question respects their autonomy. It gives them control. If they say yes, they are much more receptive to your wisdom. If they say no, it's crucial to respect that boundary. It might just mean they need to figure it out on their own, and your role is to be a loving supporter, not a director. Your quiet confidence in them can be more helpful than any piece of advice. Let's also talk about the power of sharing your own stories, but with a twist. Instead of presenting them as a lesson, share them as a moment of connection. Frame your experiences. Now here's what you should do. Because here's something I went through that this reminds me of. Share your vulnerabilities, your mistakes, what you learned from them. For instance, instead of saying, you need to save more money, you could share a story. I remember a time in my 30s when I was so worried about finances, made a few mistakes. One thing that really helped me feel more secure was approach. This approach is far more engaging. It turns a lecture into a shared human experience. It shows them that you weren't always the wise elder you are today. Were once young, uncertain, and learning, just like them. This vulnerability is a bridge. It makes you more relatable and approachable. Finally, remember to embrace their world. The gap in technology, slang, and culture can feel vast, but it's also an opportunity for fun and connection. Ask your grandchild to explain a meme they find funny. Listen to a song they love, even if it's not your style. Try playing a video game. You don't have to become an expert. Showing genuine interest speaks volumes. Your willingness to step into their world is a powerful act of love. It tells them that you care about what they care about. In return, you might find they become more curious about the world, about your favorite old movies, the music of your youth, the stories from the past. It becomes a beautiful two-way exchange, true sharing of lives. Building and rebuilding these bridges of communication takes time, patience, out of grace for them, for yourself. There will be bumps along the way, but every small step of every moment of active listening, every time you choose curiosity over judgment, every story you share is a stone laid in the foundation of a stronger, more loving family connection. These efforts are the greatest gift you can give, creating a legacy of love and understanding that will ripple through generations.